when was the first time the word depression
Oh,
came onto your radar?
that's a really, really good question. Yeah, you're on the money. So, like, I was going to say funny story, not really funny story, but we'll use the expression anyway. Like, I probably was like 16 or 17 the first time that word kind of crossed my desk, as it
Oh
were.
man. So
So you're
5 years of,
Yeah, you're
of
talking like
on
5 or 6 years of just like walking around feeling like, do I have a tumor? Like, do I have cancer? Like, what the hell is wrong with me? Am I just a worthless being? You know what I mean? Like, all these questions wrapped up in all that hormonal teenage angst. Like, we all know the drill. And I remember, I couldn't even tell you exactly where it was, but I remember hearing somebody talk about depression. And I probably, being the millennial that I am, like, went and Googled it. I remember reading the classic kind of bullet point symptoms of depression. And I actually remember crying because it was the first time in my life where I was like, oh my goodness, I feel seen for the first time ever. And I've always been really into words. I've always been really into English in school and reading and writing and poetry and, Eminem and all that sort of stuff. The modern poets of our time. And I just remember like to have vocabulary in my hands, to have words to put to my lived experience was such a relief and such like a revelation. And it really then set me on the journey of working on my mental health. And, in fairness, like, I was born in mid 90s, we'll say. And so even just culturally over here in Ireland, we typically have like quite a lot of taboo and stigma around mental health. We've got a bit of a keep your mouth shut sort of culture, particularly among men. And there's that whole masculinity bit in there as well. And to be fair, like there was just no dialogue that I had encountered in my social settings, in my faith circles, in my school environment. To be fair to them, even the medical community over here, it just wasn't on anyone's radar, to my knowledge, in terms of that general practitioner doctor. That has totally changed now in the 15 years since. And I'm really encouraged to see the younger generation come through and be very vocal about it and have that awareness, because I just know how amazing it felt for me not to feel alone and to feel like there's actually I've shared this thing before where it's like, the scariest thing in a horror movie, especially the old horror movies, is the build up to the reveal of the monster, right? It's so scary, and then you see the monster and it's not scary. It's actually so disappointing. You're like, oh, I don't want to see your whack 60s monster. It looks so terrible. Like, but the build up to it, whenever it's unknown, whenever you don't see it, it's terrifying. And I think actually whenever I was able to name the dragon that I've been battling against all those years, particularly at such a young age, I felt such a sense of peace, but also a sense of empowerment, where I was like, all right, I know who you are. I know that there's some tools out there. I'm going to get out there and I'm going to get after you. And so it was a really exciting experience.